What's going on, people? So, a couple days ago, forget exactly when, because between the vacation and just not paying attention in general, I don't really remember when this purchase happened, but it did happen, because that's why the shoes are here, obviously. But, anyways, it was through a raffle from Wellgosh. They were the same people that I won the raffle from for those Air Max 90s, the Safari ones, right? So this time around, it's a pair of Huaraches, right? So they shipped them on out. They got here actually very quickly, considering where they're coming from, which is somewhere in the UK. And along with that, along with them coming from the UK and all that stuff, it means I had to pay a little bit more than I wanted to pay. So altogether, the shoes themselves, right? I think those were about around 130 after the conversion, but with the shipping and whatnot, which was about $30 or something, it all in the end came out to like $160, right? So kind of pricey, right? But I didn't mind it so much because the fees were basically conversion rates and far distance shipping. So it's kind of okay. If this had been a resale situation and somebody walked up to me with these and was like, "Hey man, I'll sell you these right now for 160." No, of course I'm not going to pay it because the shoe costs 120, and so that's where I would generally top out. But hey, things work the way they work, and so I give into it when it makes sense to give into it. This was one of those cases because, as I mentioned many moons ago, I'm a fan of the Huarache, right? I had done the Huarache collection video, didn't get a lot of views on it because most people don't care, and I get that, but I like them, right? So here we are. Now, real quick, give you the side of the box here. So there's that stuff on the side of the box for people that care for that stuff. And also on the inside, they give you this fancy paper, so that's kind of cool. I did the unboxing and all this stuff last night on one of those Instagram live things because I had a handful of shoes and I was like, you know what? I'll just do the unboxings here. So that way I can jump into the review more or less relatively quickly. Speaking of which, it is now review time on this right here, ladies and gentlemen, the Nike Huarache SE in Desert Oak with from Stussy, I guess. I'm not quite sure exactly how that's pronounced, but I'm gonna stick with Stussy because it is the first one that came to mind. I've heard it said in some other ways. I don't know which one is right. Doesn't matter either way. We're gonna start with the bottom on this particular review. So down there, what you're gonna be looking at is pretty much just your standard outsole that you see on a Huarache, right? Nothing fancy about it, but they do have a pretty nice color layout on this one. You've got a little bit of a dark olive-ish sort of color and some kind of like a off-white, beige, maybe sail, I don't know. But it works together pretty well. And then you're going to see a little bit more of that off-white sort of color up here on this midsole. You're also going to see a very chunky midsole. Kind of reminds me of certain React shoes in that way, right? Especially when you catch the view from like the back, you can kind of see just how chunky this thing really is. But that's fine. It's also super comfortable. And then also, while we're talking about that, on the back you do have the air indented into the back side of the midsole there. So you got that going on. Overall, that's pretty much it. Not a lot to say. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to this upper because that's where things start to matter. So looking at this, right, first off, one of the things that I noticed was the quality of the upper materials is crazy. Like down here on the toe box area, you do have some nice color changing suede motions going on, so that's always a plus, right? And then moving back just a tad bit on this here above the toe box or whatever, the top of the toe box, you've got this sort of, it feels kind of like a nylon, sort of like neoprene type of material up there. And that is crazy soft as well, much like the piece that's above that a little bit, but that's kind of like a, I don't know, I guess it's kind of like a sageish color maybe. I don't know, it depends on how you see colors. I usually see them incorrectly, or at least label them incorrectly. But anyways, so you got that. You got some really nice materials going on. Stepping to the middle area of this here shoe, you got more of that brown suede going on, same material as is on the front and all that good stuff, right? And then moving on to the back, so around here what you're gonna see is this strap thing that seems to be a bit of a turnoff for a lot of people. I don't know why, I guess they just don't like it, and I get it. I'm more of a minimalist on the shoes myself, but in this particular case, I seem to be cool with it. So this is gonna be kind of like a dark greenish plastic, similar to that color you saw on the outsole, right? So you got that going on. Got a little bit of stitching kind of in there, which I didn't really notice before, but you know, that's what happens when you don't pay attention. So anyways, you got a little bit of stitching going on in there, and then around the back you got this strap that just says Nike on the top, which goes along with that goes along with that Air that was at the bottom that we mentioned earlier. And of course, behind that, what you're looking at is sort of a sock-like upper, right? Kind of like those Jordan 9s I did a review of a little while ago, that whole booty sort of thing that they have going on. That's kind of what these shoes are made like in a way. They just don't have much of an exterior, you know what I'm saying? So there's that. But before we go getting on into this here, let's swing around back to the front real quick, finish things off with the front here. So the laces I didn't really get into. They're very, very soft actually, but there's nothing special about them, right? It's just your standard color that you saw on the rest of the shoe, where it wasn't brown for the most part. And then above that, you do have that red Huarache logo going on. It says Air Huarache by Nike, and it's got whatever that thing is on the inside of there. I guess it's a Huarache logo. I don't know. If you know, feel free to let me know. But anyways, now we're done with the outside, so we're going to switch things on over to the inside. So one thing that you might be noticing is that around this here sock liner, which is pretty much this whole thing, it's all really one big sock liner, it's looking pretty soft, and I'll tell you what, it's feeling pretty soft too, because I did have these on a little earlier. But anyway, so you got that, you can kind of tell it's got the nice little neoprene style going on, or maybe nylon, whatever, it's kind of an interchangeable term in some cases. But anyways, you got that, right? And then down here on the inside, and this is a very thin sock liner that you can kind of tell if I show you the right angle in the pictures and stuff. But anyways, down there on the inside, on the insole, you do have a bit of a little design going on there. It just says Nike International, it has a globe and some kind of flag type of thing going on. I'm not sure what the story is behind that. Again, I also don't care, because the thing is, I saw these, I like the look of them, and that's why they're here. All that other backstory stuff, I'm sure there's other channels that have done better reviews. I'm just kind of talking about what I see, so take that for what it's worth, which to some is not a lot. But anyways, getting back on track here, I think we've really covered everything there is to cover about this shoe. I gave you my personal thoughts, which I'll give you again real quick in case you missed it. I like them. I like them a good amount. So I'm not going to say I'm happy with the amount of money that I paid, because again, it's over retail technically. But I do like having these. The materials on here, very nice. The look, very nice. The colors, all that good stuff. Totally into this particular pair of shoes. So it worked out all right. But that's enough out of that, right? So let's go ahead and talk about how these things actually feel, because to some people that's just as important, maybe more. And I get it. So here's the thing, right? Wearing these, you may have seen that this came in a 10, right? That's partially because I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to the conversion between UK to US sizing. And I'll tell you what though, it works out all right, because the thing is, when it comes to Huaraches, I generally feel that they're a true to size fit, personally, right? A little snug, yes, but I still say true to size. But the thing is, if your size is not available, in my opinion, it's better to go up than it is to go down, because again, they're already fairly snug. And I wore these around a little bit, compared them to a 9.5 Huarache Run, which honestly felt very much the same, those DNA pairs. And then with another pair, which was a 10 in the flax colorway. And those also felt very much the same. The only difference being that these felt more comfortable overall, just because of the materials in the upper. They just felt so much better as a complete package, right? But again, going back to that sizing, as far as like the dimensions or whatever of the shoe, I didn't notice a huge difference between the 9.5 and this 10. But again, there is just a smidge amount of room in there. But again, it's just not noticeable, at least not to me. But again, those are different models, runs versus these, so that could be part of it. Long story short, I'm gonna say true to size is fine. If your size isn't available, go up half a size. Now, as far as walking around in these, right? The comfort of these almost feels kind of like it's something like you might expect out of like a React or certain Ultra Boost type things, because it's cushiony but not too squishy, right? So it's got a certain amount of stiffness in there, which is a good thing. So long story short, again, all day wear, you're going to be good with these. So I don't see anything else that I need to mention about these as far as the comfort or anything like that goes. So I suppose we can just wrap that piece up. We can move on along, and I'll go back to some things that I mentioned before real quick. So like I was saying, sit this down here. When I was doing my comparisons, I broke out these right here, which is a 9.5. This right here is a 10. Again, this is from the DNA pack. It's a Huarache run. They felt pretty much the same to me, honestly. Like as far as the dimensions and everything goes, these obviously felt better overall because of the materials. And then same story goes with these here. This is just your standard Huarache, nothing fancy about it. This is in a 10 because Foot Locker ran out of 9.5s. And wearing these and these, again, they felt very much the same. The only difference being the materials over here, once again, felt better. So I don't know what to tell you as far as if you're looking to see like, well, why did they feel the same? They're different size, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, dude or woman. That's just what I'm going to tell you, right? So again, take all the information from this video, do whatever you want to do with it. I don't know. I just put it out there for you. That's my piece, and my piece is done. So from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. And I'll be back again with another video at some point, probably that Slam Crate unboxing. But actually, you know what? One thing I do want to touch on before we go closing this thing off. Again, the sizing conversion between Nike and, between US and UK, it is different for Nike and it's in comparison to Adidas, right? So Adidas, a 9 UK, 9.5 US. Nike, on the other hand, 9 UK, 10 US. So keep that in mind when you're buying stuff from places that aren't the United States, because it can matter sometimes. Now we're good. Later, people.